Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Simon and we are the Whales of Wall Street. Today we are looking at Solana on the exchange. You'll find it as SOL on multiple exchanges. This powerhouse of a blockchain is a phenomenal project. The last video we did was announcing a slight issue with their mainnet. There haven't been too many updates since then, so whether they've fixed that or not, I'm still waiting on this. So I just wanted to pull this tweet out from one of my favourite YouTubers, Matty G. He's always on point and very amusing. Solana team not giving updates, just carrying on shilling like everyone can access their funds. $60 billion rug pull and the SEC are after XCP instead. And his favourite word, criminals. I absolutely love that. But we are going to focus on a couple more positive things around Solana. Certainly since the last update that we've done. I'll just pick up on this one first. So the Phantom team, one of the projects running on Solana, who's only been running for 6 months and already hit 400,000 users. So it seems that everything that's using Solana, irrespective of the mainnet issue that they had recently, are showing massive progression and integration aspects from that integration. So it's really interesting to see that going. I just thought I'd pull this out, Star Atlas. So this is amazing, upcoming AAA blockchain game. So there's a big race at the moment for the metaverse. A multitude of crypto assets out there relating to games, not just game developers themselves, but also blockchain utilizing their tokenomics and their blockchain technology to push out games running on their platforms. So Star Atlas, I think I'll just turn the volume down while we wait for that to load up. But this is really amazing. So it was released on the 25th of August, this trailer. It also looks a bit like Avatar kind of thing, but it looks really funky, very high end. This looks like the game I used to play called EVE Online, but about 50 times better graphics. So there's a multitude of things that help the complexity and the improvements of games these days using blockchain technology, not just the tokenomics for pay to earn, and the tokenomics of buying and selling within games, buying land, buying ships, etc., NFTs, but just the general aspect of interoperability within games eventually. And one day a metaverse will be created, which interoperability aspect of bringing chains together, bridging chains together, almost like Polkadot does with their parachain aspect, but we'll see that in a gaming perspective. And that's when we'll see the kind of like Ready Player One activity, VR headsets and all this stuff. You're jumping in through your different games, through your different aspects, using your different tokens, exchanging as you want and as you please. So there's some really cool things going on there. So take a look at the Star Atlas, which is 2 tokens, so you can actually get the Atlas and Pulse on, I'm not sure which platform you can get. I'll have to double check that, but do check out just generally some research around this really cool opportunity of a game. So public utility. So very much, that's ongoing. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this progresses and see how we go. So the first token generation event was August 2021 in August. And then we're looking, I think, perhaps to the concept games and the beta games maybe next year. So keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on the other games that we've covered as well, like Illuvium, and different platforms like obviously you've got Decentraland, Sandbox, which are fairly basic, I guess, compared to this one. But obviously the concept about being an avatar and wandering around doing what you want is very much the aspect of perhaps the foundation of how it will all build into another different universes of games. So I just thought I'd give that a bit of attention. There's a bit of an announcement the last couple of days. So do check the trailer out. And check the game out on Google and things like that. So it's really cool. Next point is the Audius. Now Audius is very much a platform like Spotify. A lot more artists are pulling towards it, and I think because of the tokenomics and the blockchain aspect, smart contracts of validating music, copywriting, special edition, maybe covers and albums or songs, this, that, and the other, that can be utilized with NFT and tokenomic technology. A lot of artists are pulling into this. Spotify, of course, things like Apple Pay came into the fray a few years back, of course. But there's many artists that didn't go on these platforms just because they felt that they were missing out on potential revenue, had too much control taken away from them. So a lot more artists are pulling into this, and of course one of the most recent ones is Katy Perry. Of course, can't get much bigger than these kind of artists. One of my favourite producers and essentially DJs of all time, Steve Aoki, absolutely phenomenal. If you haven't been to see him live, he does throw cake at everyone, so you can get some cake. Chainsmokers, of course, massive, and another one of my favourites, Disclosure, and of course some old school ones here. I say old school only because when I was at uni, Jason Derulo started kicking off, so that was about 10 or so years ago now. So some really, really amazing artists being added to this. Why is this important? Because Audius is using the Solana platform as the powerhouse, the tokenomics aspect, the blockchain technology. So this is really important. And as we've seen with these announcements and these artists being added to this stream powerhouse, Audius, which by the way you can buy the token Audio. I think it's been doing really well this year actually. I missed out on it at the beginning. I'm not going to FOMO in personally. Perhaps we'll do a video on it maybe early next week just to do that. But yeah, of course, massive funding campaigns going on behind that, and some, as we said, massive artists, massive server capacity, and massive platform behind them in the likes of Solana. So it's not all doom and gloom for Solana. They're still cracking on. They're still building the partnerships. The partnerships are still coming to them. So don't worry. Don't believe all the FUD, this, that, and the other. And on that note, we'll go into the chart. Before we do, please make sure, if you have not done so already, that you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already, and press that bell button to ensure you get notified of all the awesome videos we have coming your way. So this news of Audius over sort of the last few days, and certainly around that 14th to 16th period, I think that's where we possibly saw this big rise of rumours and announcements of artists joining this, etc. This is where I believe a lot of this momentum came from. A lot of people may have not realised that, but of course Solana is a massive project, so it's understandable that this would grow organically anyway, and general people potentially FOMOing in and trying to catch that ride. So I would have thought that you see this beginning ride. We'll go into some percentages in a minute, but from this point here, 20th of July, $22 price point, guys, and we had a significant rise of 870% to these big gains up here at the top, where we obviously found price discovery and, more importantly, that all-time high spectrum. So that is absolutely phenomenal, guys, in my opinion. There's not many crypto assets you could say if you invest now you'll go up to nearly 1,000% in the space of 2 months. So congratulations to those that got in early, and those that got in even earlier, probably way back, back in the early year or even before then. So congratulations to all these people, whether you're holding or selling, buying, trading, whatever. It's all good. But there's a couple of points here. Of course, we had the big progression up. Now, even in this section here, from this low point on the 20th of July to the 21st, up to this point around the 18th of August, we still had a 244% rise, which is absolutely phenomenal. Now, if you bought down here and you didn't take profits, fair enough if you're holding long term, whatever, or you're waiting higher. But of course, if you are looking short term, there was a phenomenal opportunity along the way, maybe on 2 or 3 occasions, to have taken those profits. That's really important to understand that. Take profits along the way, because you never know where the top is. It never always goes on and on and on. So you may be looking at the top here going, oh, it's going to the moon, it's going. And then all of a sudden, boom, stops completely. Hits the resistance level on the fib retracement, hits level of support, because there is no support. The only support we had previously to this big run was around these levels here, which arguably match up with the fib retracement, $38 I would say. A potential support mechanism around $43, of which was tested around June, and also most recently on 15th of August, and then way back here in the 18th, 19th of May, and even then it shot straight through around that $55 mark, most recently around the 16th of August. So this whole thing has been from that $55 point on the 16th of August being price discovery for near enough a month, guys. It was absolutely mental rise. If people were able to buy in here, again, congratulations. I put this percentage line in here. That's 224% just from that mark at $55-ish, I think, $66 on the 25th of August rising up to that big powerhouse moment on the 10th, I think it was, or the 9th, at that big massive number over the 200. And I'm really amazed. I'm not amazed. I kind of expect this sort of thing to happen anyway, but to hit that 212 mark, obviously absolutely phenomenal. It gives us a better indication of where we might end up with this project in the long run. I'm just going to pull this out a second and just double check something. I think that's still pretty critical. So, there's some really big positives to take out from this. And on the way down as well, when I'm talking about taking profits along the way, it's not just to obtain profits for your portfolio to maybe use in the next runs or pull out if you've made enough money, of course. But it's also about the way down, because there's quite unique opportunities, especially with an asset like this. You must consider this massive rise here. So we've already mentioned 865%. Now, let's argue that we just go from this $55 that we mentioned earlier, the 224%, okay? Because what we've done here is we've perhaps given people the opportunity to have a little drop off, buy back in, okay? And push that momentum back up. So 224% from this mark around the 24th, 25th of August. There's absolutely phenomenal amounts of percentages that you could take profits, okay? A very good incremental percentage levels. On the way down here, we've got these buy points here. If you remember from the last video, I'm sticking to these. The reason being is because traditionally, you do tend to see around 40 to 60% reductions when doing corrections, okay? Not necessarily immediately, but certainly over a period of time. And especially with this gigantic leap that we've had. Look at all this green from the, literally pretty much from the 23rd of July. There's not many cryptos that do this. It's just been green on this histogram right until the 13th of August. Now, sometimes when you get these parabolic rises, you almost get a mirrored effect all the way back down. Not to say it's going all the way, but it could go all the way down to 80% potentially. I hope not, because I want this project to push forward, and we're arguably running out of time if we're looking for that kind of bull run end, sort of December, January time, maybe into February potentially. So we need it to do a bit of support mechanism around these levels, and I do anticipate that potentially around this yellow line is where we might mark it. That's why I put that mark before, because I was looking at this previous historic data. So hopefully that makes more sense now. So here I've drawn this percentage mark in, which is about just under 40%, which takes us from the 10th of September to the 18th, which we're currently at around $146. So we've already lost a good maybe $50-$60 off that achievement that we had at the all-time high. So of course that in itself is probably a really good position to be buying in back, at least some, if you have been selling at those top points, to at least try and buy some back in right now. Not all of it, of course, and this depends on what your strategy is, of course, but this is not financial advice. It's in my opinion. If I was to be doing that, because I don't actually hold Solana, I'm just doing this video for you guys out there, to be buying back in at these positions after selling at these regions. If you maybe sold up here and you watch the ride up to here and you come back down, and of course you break even here, and then you'll be wanting to wait for these next levels, which I've drawn in around 50% and 70%, which I think is quite reasonable, to be honest. And if I just move that one over there, I did have a couple more because some people like to have different levels depending on where they sold along the way. And if I just draw those ones in, just to help you guys out here, arguably, if you wanted something like in between, I tend to go just before the fib retracement lines. Now, these fib retracement lines aren't fully accurate, but they certainly give a rough indication. But what you're trying to look for is where you're looking at like rounded numbers, try and think unpsychological. Okay, so what I mean by that is don't think about the rounded number as a position of buying. Try and do it just before or just after. Okay, because you usually get, when you're dropping down to these lines, a slight tail down and then maybe a bounce back up, because what it's doing there is having a little test maybe over 4 hours. On the 4 hour chart, you see this very predominantly, a bit of a battle between, are we going to go back down, are we going to go further, or are we going to hold here, or are we going to try and push back up? It really depends on the volumes and how much people hold of it, how much they're willing to shove back in there to keep it up and running. So massive profits have been taken up here. I can imagine there's a lot of whales there going, I have made so much money and I'm more than happy to wait to come back down to double my intake, triple it, quadruple it, whatever they want to do. So these are the drawing lines that I put in as potential buy opportunities. Like I said, not financial advice, but certainly if I was holding Sol and I had bought, say, down here, sold up here, or bought up here, sold up there, either way, there has to be some kind of level of finding new support levels, because there's nothing, as I said, from that $55, $57 move upwards, there is no support here whatsoever. So this is a critical area for sure, around 80, and that's why we've got these markers here as well. So I thought I'd just throw those out there, guys. Let us know what you think of Solana in the comments below, if you're holding or not, if you're staking, whatever. Let us know what you think about the Audius partnership. Have you even downloaded that? Let us know as well. And let us know what you think about this chart as well, in terms of, you know, potential buy opportunities. What's your plans? Again, it's not financial advice, but we always like to share ideas here, and it gives a good research point. And, you know, if there's any good ones out in the comments there, I will put them into the next video, just as benchmarks, really, see what people are doing, and, you know, reflection on what to do in the next. And once we've found these corrections, I will certainly be doing opportunities of selling options on the way up as well, and we'll keep doing that along the way. So hopefully you guys, you found this informative. Please do, like I said just a moment ago, like this video if you found it informative. And other than that, guys, we will see you in the next video. Take care. We'll see you soon. Bye bye.